And welcome to the Football Fanatic podcast. This is episode 25. And with me, as always, is a very, very happy Howard and a less than happy Dan. A hell of a day for Arsenal Football Club yesterday. They were taking pictures with cameras, their cameramen were involved. Carragher was pissed off. It was brilliant to watch. Howard, you had a good, you enjoyed the match,
Yeah,
obviously, and you had a good night celebrating the
good
win.
night celebrating. Yeah, it was look, it was a great performance. So
Yeah.
no, enjoyed it. I was in Dublin with a few mates watching it. With a Liverpool fan as well, actually. So he was yeah, it was an interesting watch, the roller coaster that was the 90 minutes.
Absolutely.
Especially the way it ended in the first half. But no, look, we'll get into it, I'm sure, but it was I thought it was a great game in general.
I really enjoyed it. What do you call it? Amazing though the match was decided. Some of the goals were given away by probably the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment, and probably one of the standout performers this season in Van Dijk and Alisson.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I'll start with you, Howard. I suppose
yeah.
with the Arsenal lineup, playing Jorginho as well as
Mm,
Rice, it
yeah.
looked to pay off for them.
Yeah.
Jesus was injured, so like he wasn't even on, didn't even make the bench. They
Yeah.
started with Havertz. Like, what did you make of the lineup? I suppose to
Thought it
start.
was so it's the same as the FA Cup, and that caused obviously Liverpool a bit of hassle in the first half, and Klopp kind of did a few bits in the second half that kind of negated it, and a lot of it came around from Nunes getting in behind Arsenal in that FA Cup game in the second half,
Yeah.
and I think him not being there really played into Arsenal's hands, and not having that outlet. He's so good at running off the shoulder that
Were
like that
you
outlet.
were you glad to see Nunes not start?
Oh, it was a light, yeah, yeah, and it was kind of a shock because Klopp mentioned it, but then it was like I didn't actually think you seen him in training and all. I was like, he's going to be fine, like it's all just mind games. But then it was
Yeah.
surprised that he was on the bench and didn't, you know what I mean? It's like is he either fit or not fit, like so. He was obviously carrying it off. But look, overall, the midfield, Jorginho and Rice, it works very well. Like the pair of them in there, and Havertz up top is a handful. Like as he can finish his dinner, he causes havoc. He wins the ball back duel wise, and like his movement is surprisingly very very good. His off the ball movement, like that the first goal that Arsenal got was mainly down to that Jorginho and Havertz linking up in midfield, and then
Yeah.
Havertz making that run off the defender's shoulder, and Odegaard playing him in. So like, okay, he misses the chance. Obviously, I wouldn't know faith in getting it, but like to even get the chance to get in there, you have to say fair
Yeah,
play
fair
to him, and
enough.
he was involved in pretty much everything good Arsenal did yesterday in regards to the sending off. He got Kanate's two yellow cards. He was a handful.
Yeah.
He is a handful as a centre forward. He's so lanky and tall, like. But no, overall, though, the starting lineup, I was happy with it. Zinchenko coming off halftime obviously was an injury. I was surprised at that, and that really flattened me at the start of the second half when I started watching it.
Yeah.
But
Because
anyway, look, that's
Liverpool they
the
did have their like they came alive for a little bit at the start of the second half.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
The
And
goal, the goal, the gift. Like there were two gifts in the
yeah.
game, but the gift that Liverpool gave Arsenal really turned the game on its head again because it kind of looked like it could have been swinging in Liverpool's favor
Yeah,
a
I
bit
think it was.
at the
Absolutely.
start of the second half.
And
And
then just
it's just a,
madness.
a goal at the very end of the first half, and then for it to lose Zinchenko as well on top of that. So there
Mm.
was a bit of a combination of both of them. I think flattened the team a bit. But look, I thought Jorginho was fantastic in midfield. Like
Yeah,
I
I will.
know,
I know we don't. I know me and Dan don't like him. We laugh at him, but I have to give him credit. He had a very good game yesterday, so I have to
you're
put
only
my
as
hands
good
up
as
to him.
Dan says. Like Rice. Anyone could be good in and around Rice, but like you're only as good as who your partner is in midfield. Like you know what I mean. It could go the other way as well. Like that. Like he's just very good at controlling the game and playing them. It probably the game was won in midfield, and it was what Gary Neville said afterwards. Like Liverpool never took any of them risks in midfield, then passing through the lines. They didn't play any of them. Like Jorginho was doing it every time we got the ball, and I think that made a massive difference in us actually producing chances. Like it was, yeah, it was brilliant. Like just as I say, at the start of the game, Arsenal came out of the traps, like all guns blazing.
Yeah,
Like,
it has.
yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
it has definitely brought you back into it very much because I mean,
Yeah, it was a massive win.
Had
Yeah.
Liverpool gone 8 points ahead,
Mm.
he never out of it. But I mean, it wouldn't. It would have been. It would have looked bad.
Yeah, I just said that the Martinelli was causing havoc
He was, yeah,
down
absolutely.
that left wing, and I've never seen Arsenal play so many long balls in a game. It was obviously a tactic. They said like, look, we can clip it in behind, clip it in behind, clip it in behind, and it was working each time. So that was, yeah, he was a massive outlet for Arsenal.
Now, on to Mr. Coulter. How are you feeling?
Well, look, I don't think we deserved anything from the game, so it's not one of them where I'm coming away going, Jesus, oh, we were hard done by there or we were unlucky. I don't really think. I think Arsenal on the balance of the game deserved it. There was two gifts in the game. The gift that we got though, like fuck me, in that first half. I don't think I'm not sure if there's been a first half where there was a more undeserved 1-1
Mm.
scoreline going in at half time this season. Like, and we just a few points I want Howard. Like I suppose the Nunes one,
Mm,
firstly, just Klopp does that. It's the same with why like people are asking why do you take Trent off. So like Trent only started that game, in my
Yeah,
opinion, because Bradley wasn't available. Because I think Bradley would have
you
started.
reckon? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so because and he's done this throughout his reign at Liverpool. He doesn't. If players haven't trained all week, have been in and around it. He doesn't usually put them in. And I think Nunes was back in training, but he missed a day, I think, or two because of the knock.
Trent as well. He's just back, isn't he? More or less.
He's just back. Look, he came on. He's come on in the last couple of games, so he's got a few minutes here and there. But he took him off. He said it after the game is he couldn't do 90 minutes. He wasn't,
Mm.
Yeah.
right. Like, look, there's loads of different reasons why I think Liverpool like lost that game. One of them being where Jorginho was allowed to fucking have free reign of passing the ball around and pass it through the lines. Like Arsenal pressed Liverpool really, really well. Liverpool
They
didn't
did,
press
yeah.
Arsenal at all. Liverpool's press was non-existent.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good point. Yeah.
Arsenal in midfield had so much time to find the pass, and they kept finding Odegaard. Like you have to stop that pass to Odegaard. We know Odegaard is the man that can, really kind of link up
Yeah.
to play well, and they did. And so whether or not that was down to he did mention, I remember in the press conference on Wednesday. Now look, that they were knackered. Like in fairness, it was the best pressing performance they put in midweek against Chelsea that I'd seen Liverpool in I suppose
Yeah.
since the
Yeah.
peak Liverpool days. I just felt that they were too tentative, like from the get go. They allowed Arsenal. They knew Arsenal were going to come at them. Of course, they did. But like, it was either two ways. You either really sit in and kind of make a compact and soak up that early pressure, or you go and you fucking press them. You just go for them like they
Yeah.
go for you. Liverpool did neither. They were just kind of very, very tentative. Couldn't really get anything going at all. Now, look, the goal obviously gave them a lift. Like they sucked the energy out of that stadium. It was just
Yeah.
after that
Crazy.
goal.
Yeah.
It was just, and even at the start of the second half, it was like
was dead,
when
yeah.
when they tipped off, they were completely dead. So look, we had a spell for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I do feel that in the game where Arsenal's first half performance was unbelievable. It was for definitely 30 minutes anyway. They were exceptional. Every pass they were playing, they were smooth, crisp. The front players were very, very good. But I thought second half when it was 1-1, I didn't feel like there was much in the game. I wouldn't say that
No.
Liverpool maybe were Liverpool on top, and I'm sure if they were on top because they weren't really creating the whole deal. They had more of the ball than they had in the first half. But I don't know whether or not there was a goal in Arsenal either. I kind of felt it was one of them games where you can kind of see both sides. Arsenal, as Howard had mentioned in the WhatsApp, were going to have to push probably for a winner. Would have left maybe a bit of space for Liverpool, but like the mistake was, it's just one of them fucking. It's a pure shocker,
Just
between
actually on that, given
yeah.
the people involved, like two world-class players,
Mm.
whose fault do you think it was? Would you lay the blame at anyone in particular, or was it just like
I think it's more for me. It's more Van Dijk from the point of view is when the ball's in the air like that, he could have just
should have
had it out
headed
of
the
the
ball?
way.
Yeah.
Again,
Mm.
hindsight's a great thing because Van Dijk will get away with that. Like Liverpool will do that, and 9.5 times out of 10, they don't get punished for it. But
Yeah.
it was just the nudge.
No, it
It
was
made it a
actually
bit awkward.
it was worse than the Liverpool or the Arsenal one, but it was actually a similar situation because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
kind
just
of like it was like
yeah,
Saliba. I was like, just clear the ball. Like
clear the
it's
ball. Yeah,
30
yeah,
seconds left till the end
yeah.
of the half. Just boot the ball away, like, and it was just trying to be clever. And I think it was, if you looked at the Van Dijk one, like Allison goes to kick it, and you can see like he just clips
Yeah, yeah,
Allison's thigh, like, or
yeah,
thigh,
yeah.
or Van Dijk's thigh, and it just takes him away from the ball.
Yeah,
And
and Van Dijk had a bad game. Like he did. Like
yeah,
look, it
yeah,
was probably his worst game that he's had this season. I think outside of maybe the mistake, I think where against Isak earlier in the season where he took him out of it and got a red card. Where he was a bit rash. I think he's been nearly put
Oh, he's
perfect for the majority of the season.
absolutely. Yeah.
But he was a shocker. The first one was brutal. Like
Yeah.
it was really silly how he got sucked in. And the third one as well, he's been kind of called on a few times about again.
But
Allison
look,
usually saves them, but it
yeah,
took a little clip, but
it
he
did. It
was a bit
did.
nonchalant going across. So
He was. He
look,
was a little bit lazy. Like he looked a little bit lazy in his movements, kind of getting to the ball for the third one. You know.
yeah. I just feel anyway. He had a poor game. there wasn't too many that really that had a good game, to be honest. Like, let's be honest, it was just a poor performance all around. And I think
it was a definitive performance of who wanted it more. Like it was like I think it was a bigger game for Arsenal to win than Liverpool to win. You know what I mean? And I think you could see that in the performance and as in the pressing, as you mentioned there, Dan. So I think that probably played a big factor in the whole the pressing and the winning the ball back in the 2-1.
In that first half, it was too easy. Like, it was way too easy for Arsenal. They were fine, as you said, they were clipping balls out to Martinelli. But even, it was just everything about it. Now, look, there's a couple of issues there, like Szoboszlai, like Gravenberch. Anytime he's got a chance, since the glimpses of him when he first came, anytime he's got a chance in the side, to be honest, he hasn't really fulfilled that role. Yeah. Kappa mentioned that as well, that he was kind of, Szoboszlai obviously ended up being out. He didn't think he'd be out. So there was a kind of a change there. Like, look, the team that was out there now as well should have put up a better performance, regardless of what we want to say and make excuses for X or Y. They should have. Arsenal were definitely worthy of the 3 points. And like that now, before the game, I would have taken a draw. I was worried, and I was worried based on the FA Cup game, because even though we won that game, and another day Arsenal could have been out of sight at half time. Do you know what I mean? So, so you could see, like, they were Arsenal were anyway far superior in every aspect. Yeah. Granted, it was a bad mistake, but at the same time, like, first half there.
For me, it really cements Arsenal now as a team. You know, that it kind of proves that last year probably, wasn't really a fluke, and that we're really, we're up there with the likes of the juggernauts of the Liverpools and Man Cities now, and we're being taken seriously, because I think maybe some people thought, especially after the 2 losses, and maybe myself included, over Christmas against West Ham and Fulham, that they might just drop off Arsenal and it'll be a 2-horse race to City and Liverpool. You know what I mean? But they've really shown their quality in what they can do in the game there against Liverpool. And it is what is it, like 8 points in the last 4 games against Liverpool in the Premier League. So they've drawn 2 and won 2 in the last 2 seasons. So that's good return for playing a top team like Liverpool. I know they weren't probably at the races last year, but
what do you call it? A good marker for will be when he come to City in March.
Yeah. I to be honest with you, and I'm not going to try and rain on Howard's parade, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they went to West Ham and gave
No, 100%.
I know, I do, honestly. I was looking at it going, right, I looked at Arsenal's fixtures before the game of
a few tough games,
a few tough away games coming up. But actually, the West Ham one, it does seem to be a team, like, and I know West Ham aren't in good form at the moment, but I could actually see, as well as Arsenal have done, and they've got the result there, it wouldn't be unlike Arsenal to go away, and like West Ham will be dogged and drear, and they'll make it difficult where we didn't. And that's where Arsenal, the pressure comes on, and like that in the game, for the much of the game that Arsenal had again against Liverpool, you could still see that if they had a centre forward, it'd be lights out for most.
Yeah, like they do.
It just wouldn't surprise me though, and I don't.
They do struggle against the low block, they do struggle against the low block at times. But like every team struggles against low block unless you have like a Haaland in your team or whatever. But it is like they've played pretty well this year, Arsenal, apart from, I'd say, the Fulham game was one exception where they just didn't even turn up. But like even the West Ham game that they lost, like they should have won that game. Statistically they should have won the game, but didn't put the ball in the back of the net. And if that keeps happening, okay, they're going to have an issue, obviously. But
this is when in the league.
Yeah.
What about the League Cup? You get bashed by them in the League Cup.
Oh yeah, well I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't read too much into the League Cup. But
I love the League Cup.
The magic. No, but I just and they do have, when you look at the away games that the 3 sides have, there's no doubt Arsenal are in the title. Like, after winning that game, even the momentum. I don't think Liverpool will be in too much of panic, just based on the fact that it's their second loss since April, as in, having their tough game coming. They've Burnley, but then they've away at Brentford, which can be a banana skin. Just where Brentford are, it's kind of one that's a hard enough ground to go and get a result, which I'm sure City will find out tonight. So but it's a 3-horse race. It's going to be very interesting. Definitely. And I don't I looking at Rice again yesterday on that as well. Like, he was phenomenal yesterday. The energy the amount of times where it looked like Liverpool were just about to kind of, I suppose, maybe get into that final third. He mops up, like, he just his positional sense, and he's just his aggression.
He for covering ground, like, and snuffing things like that. He's the best in the Premier League at doing it. Like, you know what I mean? He's very, very good. That's why we bought him.
Yeah. So look, I have no complaints anyway. It was well done to Arsenal, and Martinelli, like, again, he hasn't got the goal return from last season, but every week, if you're an Arsenal fan, you have to love him, because he's
gets you off your feet, like.
He's an excellent player, and like that, you know, he's only like the front three are young. Like, you know, there's a lot more to come from. Well, him, Odegaard, and Saka. It'll just be about whether or not they can get a centre half out. Jesus again was out injured, which seems to be a common theme about him trying to stay fit. So it'll be interesting. It'd be interesting to see come the last 6-7 games. You know what way it is for Liverpool. What it is for Liverpool and Arsenal, because there's a lot of talk around that Liverpool have they do have winners in their side, but they do have a very young side as well. There's a lot of young players that have never tasted Premier League glory or been around, weren't in the team when we won the title. So I still think that there is a naivety around a lot of that squad as well, and it is up to the people who've been there and done that. But I'd imagine
I think they were missing their key players. I think yesterday, big time Liverpool. Like when I looked at the two starting 11s, I was getting more confident because it was like, you know, the midfield that you had was like what Gravenberch, McAllister, and Curtis Jones against, like, you know, your Jorginho, Odegaard, and Rice. And it, you know, for me, like, you know, that Arsenal midfield is stronger. And then you have Gakpo, Jota, and who was the other, Diaz, you know, against Martinelli and Saka and whatever. I just thought it was a bit of a weaker Liverpool top six that they had than they usually, you know, than your Salahs and Szoboszlais. I think if them two were fit and Nunez, like, it would have been a different game.
What do you call it? But yeah, look, Arsenal have very much come roaring back into it. Liverpool lost when the goals went in. I'm not going to lie, I did laugh.
It was such a bad goal. It was just a complete comedy of errors.
I'm not going to lie, I cheered like when Martinelli scored, when they came together, like, you know, Dan, you've kind of shouted enough abuse at City that, like, I laughed yesterday. I was just, and I sent just a couple of laughing emojis into the WhatsApp group, and I really meant it. You know, I
think your exact words were Van Dijk let him off. Was it cut him loose?
Cut him loose. He has 18 months left. Let him run it down and then cut him loose.
Can I just say the saltiness and the sore losing from fucking Carragher? God, it was just like, come on, man, let the players celebrate. Like, it's always happens. Like, I don't know why they're getting so antsy about. Like, if like Arteta was running around celebrating, sure, Klopp does that the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? It's like if the Klopp does it, it's passionate, and then Arteta does it, is like, oh, he needs to tie it up a bit. Like, come on, like that.
I think he's still reeling from the Klopp news, to be honest, because he was. I didn't.
Oh, you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, as you said though, there was sour grapes in it, because it was like, oh, he even said it. Like, it was just
get down the tunnel, like,
down the tunnel. Like, I don't see any. I know Keane would always and Sky have an issue about players and over celebrating things like that. But the thing was, it was a massive game. For both sides. And if Liverpool had won that game at the Emirates, it would have been such a marker for them. They would have been fucking celebrating in the loads as well.
100%. But Carragher, like, would you ever trust a man who spits at a kid's, like, so?
I kept on remember when I heard him say, like, get down the tunnel. I mean, geez, you can't talk. Look, just shut up.
He was on Stick to Football, and it did go through my mind when he was talking about Rashford's behaviour. And I was kind of sitting there going, kettle here.
I was gas. I saw a meme of you know, the Odegaard holding the camera, and then the other side of the picture was
Carragher.
Carragher spitting out the
window. Very good. Fucking hell. Okay. We'll stick in London, and we will go across to Stamford Bridge. Wolves 4, Chelsea 2. It's only kind of the result itself didn't surprise me, but because, I mean, they've been up and down and back and forth all season long. But I'm just kind of, one basic question is, like, Pochettino and his future. Like, is he at that stage yet where, like, it's kind of he's under severe pressure, or will he?
Well, just what I heard there before, come on, I heard that, well, Daily Mail said that they mightn't be even able to sack him financially because the financial fair play part of it could be hindered if they do sack him before the end of the season because of the package that they'll have to pay him off. That's something that just came.
No, that makes sense. So, but I'm just thinking, like, say, the amount that they've invested into the team, and I know we've talked about this numerous times, but I mean, Pochettino they didn't bring Pochettino in for a top 14 finish, top half finish. You know, 14. They brought him in. They brought him in to kind of
mold them.
Bring them much higher up the table than they were last year. And I mean, it's been a disaster. It really
Brutal.
has. Like there
Yeah.
has been no positives, possibly apart from Cole
Casado
Palmer.
has been poor. I
Casado's
watched
poor
him
the other day.
yesterday. He
Yeah,
wasn't
likewise.
great. Like for 115 million
Yeah, Dan, he
pounds or
dodged
whatever.
a bullet there, man.
Well,
Absolutely.
a friend of mine, which I thought was a really good point, sent me a message today, was after the game in midweek against us, that when you look at Fernandez and Caicedo in the midfield, like it's only $250 million between both of them,
Yeah.
in Chelsea's midfield. So like you're looking
And
at
they're the
100
same
million.
player. Like they're pretty much the same kind of player. I know Casado gets around a bit more, but like they're basically, that none of them are going to be doing like true balls, like true high
No,
needle balls. They're just
I thought Fernandez is like I think Fernandez is a good player.
yeah.
I like what I don't think he was ever worth the money, but like that was just reactionary to like the tournament he was in. He was alongside McAllister, like as in, it was a good midfield. Or was he 3 times the value price of
Yeah.
McAllister? Probably not. So
Oh.
but they're not functioning and they don't seem to be improving. I know the talk was about getting Kunku in and things in Michael, but like they have so many problems defensively. It's not even about scoring goals though. Like at the back, they're really struggling. And they seem to just pick up a lot of injuries. Well, you don't know like what Chelsea team is going to go out. And like in fairness, I did say to you on the pod, I was confident that they'd come to Anfield that we'd beat them.
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
The Tuchel Chelsea side had an idea. It was solid to a point, and they made things difficult, and they were tactically aware. This Chelsea side are so disjointed looking. When you look at them, like Sterling doesn't seem to know. Like he looks lost. He doesn't even know what he's doing. And
The only shining light of this season has been Cole Palmer.
Yeah, he's been
absolutely.
excellent.
Like literally no other person in that team has.
If they didn't get him, imagine if awful
dire
straits.
And he was small money in comparison to some of the
and he was
signings
last minute small money signing. But like Thiago Silva, like okay, he's been a great player and everything. He's 38. You're spending 1 billion on your team, and he's still playing centre back. Like it's just boggles the mind. Like like the likes of like Bowley. It stinks of this American coming in thinking, oh, I know exactly how to do things, and then like getting it.
I think Thiago Silva's 40 this year. He said it during the week. I nearly sure he said he turns 40 in summer or something.
You could be right there.
Yeah,
but
I think so. Yeah,
it's just the stinks of this American coming in thinking, I know how to run this shop. I have all these businesses, blah blah blah. I'll make this money for this investment fund.
But I'm just looking at their team. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
And then like basically spending $1 billion, and it just doesn't work. Like whatever way their strategy is gone, the team doesn't work together. Like which is the most important thing when you're building a team. You know what I mean?
Just looking at for the money that they have spent, and looking at the team that played Wolves, and as you said, it's Thiago Silva. He's 39, whatever. Nearly 40. Diaz, like your man Gusto, who's come in, I don't think he's great. He's just fucking pick up a yellow card every game. He's not like Reece James is a good player when he's fit, but he's rarely fit. But then you look at it, like Gallagher, they tried to sell a couple of times, headed alongside Fernandez and Caicedo. And then like Sterling, they bring on then Jackson. You're bringing on Mudryk. He came up against Liverpool when he came on during the week. He was shocking bad. That one just has never taken off. But you look at their bench then, whilst they had on the bench
100 million there, by the way.
Yeah, but it's bleak enough. And I was looking at they've got the FA Cup game now away at Villa. I know you're saying about the money thing, Howard, but they've got Villa away in the cup, right?
Yeah.
And then they play us in the Carabao Cup final. You're kind of going, well, if they don't stay in the FA Cup and then we knock them out and I beat them in the final of the Carabao Cup, like it's damage limitation there as to what was there left for them really? Like they're not going to get Champions League.
Well, Wolves jumped above them.
Yeah, that's
there.
Right,
and we have to credit to Wolves. Gary O'Neill, we were talking about the start of the season, they couldn't spend any money with FFP, that there was a potential that to go down. And they just, any game that they play, again, it's the complete opposite of Chelsea. They actually have a plan. They're well organised. Absolutely. Gary O'Neill has got a great fucking tune out of them.
Lads. Pedro Neto
he's excellent, isn't he?
Top player. Like
he destroyed us there.
If he can stay fit, like he could easily fit into any of the top teams. Like so,
he's a good player.
Could be a bit of a one to keep an eye on over the summer, I'd say.
Yeah, your man Kuna is banging them in. Your man from Atletico Madrid, he's chipped in with a good few as well. Yeah, but he's got them for a limited budget, and they got like a few of their best players were left, like Neves.
Yeah.
I suppose back to what's it called? Just back to Poch. Like they're gonna obviously stick with him for the next few weeks at least, see through the final, the Carabao Cup final. But if they keep kind of getting those results, surely like they won't keep him in the job.
He'd be gone
Well,
end of the summer, I'd say. They'll wait till the summer, but he'd be gone. They'll evaluate, I'd say, in the summer, and then he'd be gone. I think like even unless they make they win the cup and they make
Yeah,
get up maybe
a
3
cup
or
could be
4
a saving
places
grace for
extra.
him, maybe. Yeah.
I think he's gone otherwise. I think that the nail is in the coffin as it is. Whether they can pull it out yet, I don't know.
I just look at it here. So the Villa in the cup. Wow, that's what date are we today? That's this week.
Yeah.
Away, then let's go away to Palace, right? You obviously need a result, as well. But then they're away at City, like, and then they play us. So you could imagine if they even get it. Like, if you look at it, because they're knocked out by Villa, then it's really needed to be beating Palace, and then you've then fucking away at City, which they could get tonked, and then they play us in the cup. So you could say by the end of February, you could be on, realistically, if not sooner.
No, yeah.
You don't know what's going on in the background there. I think if Roman Abramovich was still there, he'd be long gone. To be honest,
true.
but yeah, no, it's not. They're a shambles. They are, like, it's the only way to put it.
Just on Chelsea again, actually. So there was a guy on, an ex-Man City financial expert. He's on, Stefan Borst or something. He's on Talksport sometimes, and he was the guy who's, he talks about the 115 charges and all that. But he was also talking about Chelsea, and he was saying that they need, in order to avoid breaking financial fair play, they need to sell 100 million by like the 20th of June or whatever part of the time it is. So if they don't sell roughly around 100 million, they're going to be caught. So whatever point deduction, whatever they're going to get, and apparently it's going to be a lot worse than their Everton style of things, because they've done it deliberately, nearly. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, we went just overboard. Sorry, there. These guys knew what they were doing, and they knew that they were gonna break the rules. So they think like you need to sell your likes to your homegrown, your Reece Jameses, your Gallaghers or whatever, and it needs to sum up to something roughly over 100 million by June, or else they're going to get done. And that pot, like, who has that money? Like, people know that Chelsea are going to struggle, but people aren't going to be spending that amount of money when you look at the January transfer window.
Of course, absolutely.
That
early in June.
And there's not too many of them, Howard, that are impressive. Like, Gallagher is one that you could see him getting a move.
Yeah,
he's a decent player, but when you look at that side and the wages that a lot of these lads are on, like, who based on a poor season that most of them are having, like, you're not going to be rushing in with big money for many of them,
Right. We'll keep going. Just run through the rest of the results over the weekend. I'll just stop you in once or twice. Man United 3, West Ham 0. It's two decent. Well, you call the Wolves result decent, given that, like, they left it so late, but it's 2 wins on a bounce. They did look decent, I thought, against West Ham. Garnacho, Hoyland is starting to score a few. Yeah, they're looking better. They've definitely looked better, like, than earlier on in the season. So I mean, I know they have City coming up away to City in a few weeks' time. Have they turned the corner? Is this just a flash?
I thought Martinez was excellent yesterday, and has been a big plus for them coming back. I've seen he's after he went off injured, and they're talking about now 6 to 8 weeks, which is a real blow for them. But I thought he brought aggression. He kind of had them just straight away. They're aggressive. They're on the front foot, and that kind of starts through him. I think
that position's so important. Like, that centre half position, a guy who can play the ball out and be defensively sound.
And I think I've liked Garnacho for a while. I do, and I think he's starting to get now more goals and get into better positions. And he's not as greedy. I think he's more of a team player. I do like him. I think he's good.
There's a cockiness to him that, like, it suits his style of play.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could spill over into arrogance, or is he just a very confident player? I don't know, but
I think he's good. I think he's a good player anyway. And
he's the image of Angelina Jolie. Did you ever see that? The face on him. He's real.
I'll have to look at that and click.
Yeah.
Put a picture of Angelina up as well. I can't say I've seen it, Howard, but I'll take your word for it.
It's just me, yeah.
Yeah, but they seem to have got Hoyland, fit, and his goal, in fairness, was a very, very good goal. So in that part of the pitch, they seem, and then obviously the young lad in midfield who's been making strides, like his goal against Wolves for the winner, regardless of the madness that went on, it was an exceptional one. And Casemiro alongside him. So, like, there is positives there for them. Like, I suppose listen to Keane and Neville talking about United, it's going to be FA Cup, try and win that, and then try and get 5th, which they're not too far off. But again, I wouldn't trust them. When you look at the Wolves thing, there's just that kind of a what would you say, a game management issue with them. And I think that if they don't get Champions League and maybe don't win the cup, I think Ten Hag might be gone. To be honest, I think that's I don't think that yeah, I think that that could be an issue for them. You know, I don't know who they're going to replace him with, but I think that that would be the aim. And I definitely think they have the players. Like I think most of the players are back now, aren't they? Martinez after getting into now.
Yeah. No,
They're decent. Yeah, they're playing all right.
definitely, yeah, there's definitely a bit of optimism around the place, I'd say. But again, until they kind of do it over a number of games as opposed to 4-3 to Wolves and beating West Ham at home, they need to kind of put a run of games together to kind of be properly kind of talked about.
Yeah.
Just on the Hammers though, like they're on the other side of it, like they're in a bit of a blip at the moment. Anyway, yeah, they are. Thought they played all right in the game against United, but they just
first
didn't know.
half I thought they had a few chances. Like I think they could have had a few goals the first half. I think they were unlucky, they didn't take any chances. You know, I think the score probably 3-0 flattered United a bit.
Definitely.
I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
yeah.
But they're definitely. I think I know they have Bowen's back and Kudus is back, but I think they're really missing Paqueta's passing and his kind of ability on lock the door. Ward Price in the game against United actually was good. He was trying to kind of pull the strings for them, but like there's no doubt now, like the pressure's mounting on Moyes as well. So again, that West Ham Arsenal game has even a more of a significance now because I think they haven't won since it's at the end of December, or they haven't won a game. So you know there is a bit of, even though they're still looking pretty well in the league, but have to keep mounting that pressure until they keep the results. You know.
All right. Elsewhere, so Bournemouth 1, Notts Forest 1, Everton 2, Spurs 2, Brighton 4, Crystal Palace 1. Brighton are a yo-yo team this season. Really, they really are. Like,
when you look at the league position, though, it's mad, isn't it?
I know, absolutely.
It just shows how well they were first half of the season, how well they were doing. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Burnley 2, Fulham 2. Newcastle 4, Luton 4. It was a crazy game. But you have to give credit to Luton. I mean, they're just fighting, and you've seen like they've got out of the bottom three. And I mean, Sheffield United 0, Villa 5. I mean, Luton are out of the bottom three. Everton are back in the bottom three, and if they do get docked points again, like I thought Everton were home free because earlier on in the season they were playing really well. They were getting points at the board. They got docked, but then they quickly got out of the bottom three. Now all of a sudden they're back in it. Palace are struggling. Notts Forest aren't too far away. Brentford aren't too far away from the bottom three. Like, because teams are slowly, they're not getting dragged into it. But I mean, Fulham and Everton Luton and Everton, Burnley. Like, I don't.
Burnley, I think are done. I think them and Sheffield United, I think are done.
Are Sheffield United one of the worst teams to be in the Premier League for a long time?
Yeah.
This isn't just my dislike for Sheffield United, but they completely gave in at Villa.
They just have a championship team playing in the Premier League. That's the problem, though. You look at a lot of their players there. There's not too many that you'd say would make a Premier League side. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just on Everton though, like that, they've only won their last 10 games. For as much as we were, that point was a big one against Spurs. I think at the weekend and that as well, but. Like Luton having a bit of a cushion, it's like 7 points, I think, over Burnley with a game in hand. Like, and then I suppose you have like Wolves and Brentford looking over their shoulder. Brentford are still in that kind of a mix there as well. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Luton are giving themselves a fighting chance, aren't they?
100%. And of the 3 teams that would have come up, you thought they'd be going straight back down. Like, you know, given that.
And you got to give them credit. Like they've been great to watch as well. They've been scoring a lot of goals. Your man Adebayo has been a handful for any of the defenders that came up against them.
Like Luton's record signing is
Barkley has been a revelation in midfield. He's probably playing the best football he's played in his career.
And Ogbena's doing well, Howard, isn't he?
Ogbena is playing brilliant. Lokonga, Arsenal loanee, is there as well. He's playing midfield, but Ogbena we saw for Ireland, like, you know what I mean? We saw like his talent, and then it was surprising he wasn't really getting in the team at times at Luton, and now he's starting to get a run of games, and you can clearly see
he destroyed Dan Burn several times.
He's
destroyed him.
Burn, get him a penalty, sure.
Putting himself in a shop window. You never know. What do you call it? So Of course, the final game of the weekend is on tonight. Brentford versus Man City. So
We're seeing you're
this
looking a
is
bit pale tonight, Dak. I thought you were
Yeah,
looking a bit
yeah.
pale.
I'm not pale. Just this light is shining on me.
Yeah,
So
just one last thing, like the Spurs game. It kind of when people were thinking Spurs were, maybe coming good and maybe just going to be down the
Howard, he
back
had
of.
a good win over the weekend, man. Just leave Spurs alone.
Yeah, well, I suppose what I'm getting at is it's starting to make a divide now. Like, you know what I mean? You have your Villa and Spurs are kind of starting, I think, to maybe drift a
Fall a
bit,
little bit, are
and then you have that's look. I would assume if Spurs were going to be serious about actually, being up there, they needed to win that game, and they should have won that game.
Of course.
But like losing last minute or drawing last minute and dropping points wasn't great when they were pretty much comfortable during the whole game. But anyway, that's just my
They
take
just
on it.
say that their next 3 games are at home for them. Their
Really.
Oh,
next
really?
three, yeah,
Tottenham,
Prem games, yeah. So I'd imagine
pick up
the
points then.
well, I just think that I know what you're saying, Howard. That kind of inconsistency, missing Son, I think as well. I think he's one of
Big
the best
loss, yeah.
players in the league. So they're
Yeah.
still in the tournament, aren't they? I think they're still in
Yep.
it. So look, it'd be interesting. I think that was obviously point drops against Everton, but like
Yeah.
if Arsenal went to Spurs, for
Oh no,
me
it'll be a
that
tough game. Like it's
it'd
not,
be
it's going to be an easy game,
50-50.
but
Yeah,
yeah. But I was kind of expecting when Madison came back and Van der Ven was starting. I was like, oh, they're going to be back to that like juggernaut that they were there at the start of the season. Remember they were winning the league at the start. I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to maybe bring that form back in because Madison was unreal. But it doesn't seem to have clicked
Europe
again
as
yet
well,
since they came back.
All right. We'll move on to we might actually do fantasy football next if that was all right. We'd be all right doing that. Just a quick update.
You never got to say about City though. Did you want to talk about them?
Not
Tonight?
really. I want to see how tonight goes, and then
Brentford away, isn't it?
Brentford away. It'll be a tough game, but I would expect that we're in good form. We're on a good run. De Bruyne is back. Haaland is back. He had some. He got a bit of a run there in the last game as well.
Haaland starting.
I haven't seen the time. I haven't seen the team.
I'll have a look here. I'm looking at it here.
Check here for you.
I don't think he should start, but I could be completely wrong there. I think I keep him on the bench and have Alvarez kind of stay there for the time
Yeah,
being.
He's starting.
Haaland is starting. Okay.
Yeah, Haaland, Alvarez, De Bruyne, Foden, Silva,
It's a very
Rodri,
attacking side.
Okay.
Gvardiol, Ake, Diaz,
Right.
Walker.
Given that, then I'd be expecting them to. I would. We play
Our main man is
Burnley.
playing tonight as well. Neil Mope. Whoa.
All right.
We'll see what shithousery he gets up to tonight.
What do you call it? We have Brentford away and home in the next 3 weeks. So look, we need to be winning. Arsenal won yesterday. Liverpool are currently 5 points ahead. I know we have 2 games in hand, but you would rather have the points on the board. So we need to be beating Brentford tonight. And
remember, there was a crazy game. Was it last year that they beat you in
they
the
bet us
Etihad?
twice. They bet us twice.
Twice. Yeah. That was a crazy game. It was like 4-3 or something. Or 4-1 was it or something? It was like it was counter-attacking football. Tony was racking them in.
What do you call it, Dan? Do we still have a husband or wife leading the fantasy football?
We do, yeah. And
do we fake?
The 2 judges as well had Palmer as their captain, both of them. They're colluding together there. So they're both going well. And actually tonight, so Paul Breslin is leading, and tonight he actually is Walker playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's De Bruyne, Alvarez, and Walker who are all playing tonight. And
you're not a fan of Walker, Dan, are you?
I think he's a good player, but he's a little rat. Yeah. So I'm just looking here now. Yeah, so they both have a lot of City players tonight. So it'll all change because there's some that have captained Haaland, there's some that have captained De Bruyne, and some have captained Alvarez. So I'd say it'll be a bit of changes, but they're still leading it. They have had another solid week. I'm just wondering, is there anyone else now? Enda McDonald actually has had a strong week there. He's got 70 points.
Connor Jordan had an awful midweek.
Yeah, he did, and let me see, who's he got? Oh, he's Haaland as captain. So again, it's all to play for him.
Okay.
Now the poor fucker did leave João Pedro and Lamptey on his bench, so he's actually left 13 points sitting on his bench, which I'm sure he's not too happy about. But so it's still very tight there. Like there's only like 70 points between first and.
I see you've made your way back into the top 10.
Yeah. I have a couple of City players tonight then as well.
And you also overtook your brother.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, who's his captain now then? Okay. Yeah, he's Haaland as his captain tonight, so I'll be sitting there
Alright.
just hoping Haaland does nothing because I don't have Haaland. So
Have you played your wild card yet then? No.
no, I've only played what have I played? I've played I think one of my chips, or I played two of them. I haven't played wild card, I haven't played
Yeah, I have to
captain.
do mine yet. I'll do it now. I
Um
was kind of waiting for Salah and Haaland to come back fit before I played in.
Salah, Haaland, and then Son, I suppose, would be another when he's back. It'd be kind
Yeah.
of it'd be interesting to see it. You have played it already though. I was having a look the last few weeks, so some have played it, but it's very much it's going to be kind of week to week there. Like, will people go back to Haaland as captain because he's back now? It was really nice there for the last couple of weeks because there was a big mix. Like, I captain Gordon, who actually was, and you had as well, Howard. You were both on the same lines there, and he went off injured at half time.
When Haaland is so expensive like that in the game, like it does. Yeah, teams do get very similar then. You know what I mean? When you have a bit of money like that, once he's gone, you can spend it around and pick different players, and it kind of mixes things up a bit. Like.
Yeah, and it's just because Salah and Haaland are out. Like, the captaincy every week. Like, I was looking at, like, Palmer was one that someone that people had picked. Now, not many had picked Watkins. Someone did it, I think, in our group there, picked Watkins as captain as well. But it was very much kind of, the last couple of weeks, you didn't know who. It was very different amongst the group. So yeah, but it's still tight enough. There's not much in it. And
I thought it was brilliant because I don't think Paul Breslin has been on top actually all season.
Right, yeah, I know he's been in around like the top 4 or 5. He might not have been top, is right. But himself and his wife Claire my cousin, have both been up near it there.
They've been like top 10 consistently all season, but then they've for whatever they did, they're about 1 and 2 now. And what's got Andrew Curley, I think, is still thereabouts in the top 5.
Connor he's third there at the moment.
Shane Durkin. Is Keenan there somewhere as well?
Yeah, Keenan is there in he's 8th. He actually has Haaland as captain. Yeah, a good few here now have Haaland as captain. So that table will change dramatically for some there if Haaland bangs in a few tonight. So the thing is I tell you, playing 90 minutes, you're kind of hoping that he'd get. I'd imagine can't see him playing the full 90. So yeah, but it's still very much to play for there. It'll be a title race of sorts for that jersey.
Absolutely. Just a reminder, the winner of the Fantasy Football League will win a club jersey of their choice. So we'll move on now. Before we go on to the weekend predictions, we'll just a quick mention on Monksland United. The A team were idle this weekend gone by. The B team, their game was called off. Again, this weekend coming, their A team are away to Gallen in the senior division, and the B team are away to Clonasea in Portlaoise, or just outside of Portlaoise.
We must plug then their last man standing. When is that starting?
Yeah, the last man standing is going to be back.
It's like 10 days or something because I checked it recently. I need to sign up for it myself.
Saturday the 17th of February. So we would encourage everyone to get involved. It's €10 to pick a team, and €500 to the winner. So Saturday the 17th of February. You can get more information on Monksland United on Instagram or on Facebook. We'll definitely. I have yet to pick my kind of first team or that, but I'll definitely be doing it. Have you entered it yet?
No, but I need to enter it. But it's the what game? It's obviously. I wonder what. Yeah, I don't know what the fixtures are for the first round of them.
Whichever one's on the 17th of February, I guess.
Yeah, Dan, you're in another one, aren't you? You said you were Newcastle, did you?
I Newcastle, yeah. I was in one. What was the name? Hang on now. I can't remember what team I can't remember who it was now that I was in it with, believe it or not. Let me see now. Who was it? St. Joseph's GA.
Oh yeah.
So but I had Newcastle. So before I got taken out of that group, I removed myself. But yeah, Newcastle. Yeah, got to the second week, and unfortunately, and actually, when I looked at the thing, an awful lot of people at Newcastle. So a lot are after getting wiped there. On the second week of it. So I haven't looked at it yet. So what we saying, Nick? It's the
17th of February. Yeah.
So looking at there, you're right. Yeah, there's not too many on Newcastle home to Bournemouth. Would I go down the Newcastle route again? Probably not. Spurs home to Wolves. City home to Chelsea, actually. Yeah, I don't know. It's actually it's not the easiest one to be starting. We're looking at it there now. Arsenal away Burnley, okay, fair enough. That'll probably be Liverpool away Brentford. you like to be picking home teams at the start just to kind of, ease yourself into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the crack with that, yeah.
Okay. Now final segment. So is next weekend's prediction. So again, would encourage everyone to get involved with this. So if you can predict 3 correct scores, you'll be in with you will win 2 match tickets to a Premier League team of your choice. It hasn't been done yet. We are convinced it can be done, but some people are getting close. Lenny over the weekend actually had the 2-2 Everton and Spurs, and then he started sending me messages saying he thought this was going to be the one and stuff like that. But
I had a 3-1, predicted 3-1.
3-1, yeah. So like people are getting one. A very rare occasion someone gets 2, and 3 hasn't been done yet. But hopefully it would be cool to see if someone could do it. The fixtures this week. So we've picked Luton versus Sheffield United, West Ham versus Arsenal, and Aston Villa versus Man United. So Luton and Sheffield United will be a big one for Luton, especially. I don't see Sheffield United doing anything else this season. Luton, I think, yeah, they're definitely a team to watch this season. What do you think this weekend, Dan?
I'll go 2-1 Luton.
2-1 Luton. Howard, what do you think?
I'll say 3-0. Luton.
3-0. Cool. Right, so over to your team now, Howard. So West
Yeah.
Ham versus Arsenal.
I'll go with a 2-0 win to Arsenal.
It's a brave one.
Yeah, like I'm actually, the more I think about, they could get caught on the counter attack, but I'm kind of relying on West Ham's poor bit of form coming into it, that it might be an easier game than
Fair enough.
what we expect. You know what I mean?
Dan, West Ham and Arsenal.
I'll go 2-1 West Ham.
Oh,
Good man. And then Dan, Villa and Man United.
3-1 Villa.
Good man. And Howard, Villa and Man United.
I'll go 2-1 Villa.
2-1 Aston Villa.
And I think that's a Champions League kind of, if
playoff.
United are looking to try and get back into it, they need to go away and win it.
They need to win that game, yeah.
But I just think, I know Villa had a poor one there against Newcastle, wasn't it? At home, but in general they're very good at home, and I just feel that they might just be too strong for United.
The way it's kind of shaping up, so we're into February now, like Champions League is back. I'd imagine Liverpool, City and Arsenal, in whatever order, will be the top 3. Who do you think at the moment will be favourites for the 4th position? Is it Villa?
Spurs.
Spurs?
Oh yeah.
No Europe. I have to go with Spurs. Yeah, no Europe.
Howard, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Tottenham. It'd be more interesting who's going to get 5th, I think, because the 5th still might be Champions League spot.
Yeah.
I think Spurs are pretty much nailed on, I would say, to get it. I think they're the strongest by far out of United, Villa, and themselves.
And then to get the 5th, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think United could sneak the 5th?
They could sneak it, but I still think that Villa all around. I know they probably will go deep in the European competition there, in which is the only thing that maybe might throw them off. But based on Villa's first half of the season, how poor, I suppose, some of the other teams around them have been or gone through. Like, they haven't gone through a big spell, where they've been really inconsistent. So I just think that unless they kind of fall off the wagon, they kind of usually kind of come back after a poor result or that and kind of get back going. So I still think Villa, if they don't get any injuries, they're Watkins and stuff like that fit. I think Villa would be for me anyway. Yeah.
And Howard, do you think Villa?
Yeah, I think Villa. They're on paper, they're a better team than United. Yeah,
it would be some achievement, wouldn't it? Honestly,
Yeah.
if Villa were to kind of
get Champions League,
get into the Champions League. I mean, they were only in the fucking Championship a couple of seasons ago, and then Emery has come in, and you think back to what Gerrard was doing and how it went wrong.
In fairness, when you think about it like that,
Emery took over. And Dan, you were saying last week that Emery, or was it Howard? You were saying one of you were saying Emery was a complete outsider for the Liverpool job. But I mean,
if you're just to go on, I would say if you were to go on statistics based on what he's won as a manager and what the job that he's done at Villa and his win record, he would be up there. Like, there's no doubt. From that point of view,
he has done his reputation so much good with his work at Villa. I mean, it would be much less of a risk for Liverpool
Yeah.
to take him than other managers because they've seen him in the Premier League. He has done brilliant with Villa, and I mean,
Doesn't suit. I don't think he suits Liverpool.
oh
I
no, I'm
know.
not. I don't think it'll happen. I
No,
Yeah.
genuinely
it
don't
won't
think it'll
happen.
happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was just a really good call, and I think he deserves massive credit. And
Oh, he's done brilliant there. Yeah.
if they were to get Champions League, I mean, that's huge for Villa.
I think
Yeah.
him and Villa work very well. Like the type of team they are and the position of they are, and they're not expected to play like, you know, really attractive football or, you know, basically I think it's just a very good match, the two of them
Yeah.
together, because he was Emery's he's a very clever manager, but I think
Yeah.
he suits a certain type of football team. Like he doesn't really suit a team that's going fighting on all fronts. I don't think. I think he's more of a you know, get your 10th place up to 4th place kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think that's his kind
Yeah,
of
I
bread and
get you.
butter. You know.
Just thinking there now as well. I forgot. United are out of Europe altogether. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, United are out of Europe and have most of their players back. So I'm actually nearly. Okay,
Martinez is a big blow. Like
yeah, it
if it
is. It
depends
is a
how they get
blow.
on the next few weeks without him.
Yeah, I think if they're serious about it, they'd have to be going. As I said, Spurs have a few home games coming up. Play Villa now. I think if they bet Villa, I might change my view.
Yeah.
I do think United have a chance, especially now with no Europe and nearly all their players back fit, and they're starting to kind of hit form and score goals. So I'd still stick with Villa, but I wouldn't be surprised if Man United could get that spot, or even like depending on how Villa and Spurs go, you wouldn't really like United. What are they? 7, 8 points off fourth. Like they're not. It's not insurmountable amount
Yeah.
West
of
Ham
games.
are in there as well.
And
They were in
West
there.
Ham of course are still knocking around. Yeah, well, West Ham are still knocking out, and
If
they have Europe as well.
If
Yeah,
West Ham are in there, like, why are people talking about Moyes being
Yeah, I don't know.
why? It doesn't make sense.
it's just I suppose that there was always when he came in, I think always a cohort of West Ham fans that didn't want him and they don't like the style of football. And there's definitely when they were going through that rough period last year, on and off, like there was talk of him being he was favourite, I think, at one stage to be the next manager to get the job and everything. So like there's a lot of previous with him in regards. Once they just hit a bad run of form, that fucking cohort come shouting again. I again look at it like they're in European competition. They're in a decent in a decent place in the league. And Moyes has shown before that when they go through a bad run, usually can get them out of it. So I don't think there's any need to panic for if you're West Ham supporter. Like their front three is you know their the front players are you know with Kudus there and Bowen, like they'll cause teams problems.
Yeah, it's just interesting that I mean, whenever they go through, like me said, this like they're up. What position are they in? Are they in 8th or 9th?
No,
They're higher
they're
up. They're higher
yeah,
up than that.
they're now.
They're 6th or
So
7th.
they're seventh at the moment. So like just 2 points off United.
So what the hell are the West Ham fans crying about if that's the case? They're in 7th. I mean, doesn't make any sense.
And even though
Ronan actually, I want to chat to Ronan Fagan. He may be on the podcast next week. Because I don't understand that West Ham fans some of them wanting David Moyes gone when he has them in 7th. He has them. They're technically European champions after last season. I mean, Jesus Christ,
They lost Rice.
Yeah, they lost Rice, and they're still looking. I mean, what more do the West Ham fans want?
Yeah,
they want the team to play the West Ham way. You know?
Yeah, there is that kind of like be careful what you wish for, isn't there? We've said that before in the podcast.
Absolutely.
You know, they have a solid thing going there. If like West Ham are continuously getting into the European positions, like that's, you know, like especially on a I suppose reduced budget to the bigger sides, and the fact that they'll probably always lose. Like I do feel that they'll lose one of their best players this summer. I don't know which one yet it'll be, but one of them will probably move as well. So they'll have more money. The Kids took their last win was away at Arsenal. Was their last win. So they are going through a period. They were knocked out of the cup. Few draws in there, like so they're not losing all their games. They've drawn formats which they should have won that. They've drawn away Sheffield United and they definitely should have won that.
Yeah.
Drew at home with Brighton. So like they have though, I'm just looking at their fixtures there, like they've like Arsenal next, and then they've got like Forest away, Brentford at home, Everton away, and then Burnley at home.
So
there's kind of a run there where they could easily get out of trouble. And like that as well. And I like the West Ham, like their side is good enough. I don't know how long Paquette is out for, but like they could go on a run in the Europa League. Is not out of the question either.
Absolutely, yeah. West Ham, Liverpool final at Dublin would be very good.
Yeah, be some crack, wouldn't it? Yeah. I
Klopp's
just looking there, like,
last game.
could you? Well, it'll be last game unless they're in the FA Cup final, and that'll be the last game. Yeah.
Okay.
But only other one I could see that I don't think Brighton could go on a run, but even though it was a poor result for Newcastle at home, like they did go away to Villa and win, I think just get a bit more consistency back into their side. Like they have no Europe now as well. They have players coming back. I think Wilson was on the bench, he came on. I think Willock is near a return. There's players coming back for Newcastle.
Yeah.
Fortunately, just Isak's had one of them seasons where he just seems to be in for a couple of games, out for a couple of games. Like they have an outside chance of, I don't know, like they're on 33 points. They're probably a fair bit away off fifth or 11 points off fifth, but they probably should be getting back. I would imagine they could get into the European positions as well. I think they're a bit of maybe a dark horse because they are good enough to go on a run. If they can get that momentum from the first half of the season going again, they could go on a run. But it'll be interesting what happens to them now as well. We're talking about Poch, but what would happen, Eddie, if they don't end up in Europe? Talk is they might have to sell one or two of their players.
Of course.
It's interesting to see will they stick or twist with him.
We shall see. All right. We will end it there because I'm going to watch in City tonight and I want to what do you call it? I want to see them get back into the title race. They will go level with Arsenal. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, but they have a game in hand.
If we win, like, of course. And then the game in hand is actually the home tie against Brentford again in a few weeks' time. So it's heating up. What's he called? Howard, is that your dog?
Dog, yeah. He's going after cats here.
Okay, listen, man, I will call it there and I hope you have a good week and I'll be talking to you next week. All right?
To not have any in their business, no?
So apologies, Dan. AOB, do you have any?
Try to get Dan off the book.
This is shocking. I
can just drag it out so you missed the game.
No, I won't do it to you, Dick. I understand. Can I just say one thing and get your thoughts on that? Because I only came across it. If you haven't seen it, it's grand. We can leave it there. But did you see the thing that they're doing this summer? They're doing an All-Stars Legends World Cup, no?
No.
So they're doing like an 18 World Cup. So like they've signed up loads of players already. So Henry is going to be in the French team. Ronaldinho, there's a lot of Brazil legends coming out for Michael Owen.
But Ronaldinho is in jail.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's making a comeback. He's getting out of jail for the competition.
But I was just looking at it. I just thought it was interesting. Like,
that sounds cool. Like a Masters tournament.
Yeah, it's kind of a Masters tournament. So there's 8 teams in it. So I just
is it on like 11-a-side?
Indoor
or something?
No, I don't. No, I think it's like, say proper is probably not the right word to use, but I'm looking at here, like, so England have like Ashley Cole, Joe Cole, Rio Ferdinand, David James, Frank Lampard, Robbie Fowler. Brazil have like Cafu, Carlos, Emerson, Kaká, Ronaldinho, and Rivaldo.
Could be good crack, actually,
Germany have like Özil, Sami Khedira, and Kevin Korani. Then they're talking about maybe that David Villa, Carlos Puyol. Like, I just think it's gas. Forlan for Uruguay. There's like 8 teams anyway. I just thought I only came across it just before I come on here. That's apparently going to go ahead in England. Actually, it's going to be in England.
Oh, very good. I'd happily watch that so much
sooner
than I'd watch the new FIFA club thing that's going to be coming in next season. Like, happily watch that All-Star thing, whatever it is. All right, I'm going to call it there, man. Listen, thank you very much as always, and I'll be chatting to you next week.
Best of luck later.
Yes, come on, City. All
right. For the good, we need City to win, Howard, for the good of the game.
For the good of the game. All right, man. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Cheers, Zach.
All right,
see you later.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck.